Hello students, in the forthcoming modules we shall be studying protease inhibitors and amylase inhibitors. But before studying these inhibitors, we shall also study in brief the definition, importance and the role of enzymes in our body. We shall also study their mechanism of action and what are the enzyme inhibitors. We shall be revising the roles of digestive enzymes since protease and amylase enzymes are concerned with digestion of proteins and starches respectively. Along with this, we will also discuss the role of enzymes in some metabolic disorders and their therapeutic application. Hello students, in the forthcoming modules we shall be studying protease inhibitors and amylase inhibitors. But before studying these inhibitors, we shall also study in brief the definition, importance and the role of enzymes in our body. We shall also study their mechanism of action and what are the enzyme inhibitors. We shall be revising the roles of digestive enzymes since protease and amylase enzymes are concerned with digestion of proteins and starches respectively. Along with this, we will also discuss the role of enzymes in some metabolic disorders and their therapeutic application. So, let us come to the introduction. The living cell is the site of tremendous biochemical activities which we commonly called as metabolism. This is the process of chemical and physical changes that go on continuously in the living organism. This includes build-up of new tissues, replacement of old tissues, conversion of food to energy, disposal of waste material, reproduction, in fact all the activities that we characterize as life. The enzymes are like organized workers on an assembly line. They facilitate these reactions to progress smoothly by acting as catalyst, which does not undergo any permanent chemical change and it is regenerated. So, the reaction is described as the reactant combines with catalyst, it forms an active complex and this active complex breaks again to form the product and the catalyst is regenerated. And in this way it again reacts with another reactant and the process goes on. The enzymes are catalysts synthesized by living organisms, but they can act outside the living system under suitable conditions. They are responsible for bringing about all chemical reactions in the living organism. Without enzymes, these reactions would take place at a rate far too slow to match the pace of metabolism. Let us take some examples. The oxidation of fatty acid to carbon dioxide and water is not a gentle process when carried out in laboratory. Extremes of pH, high temperature and corrosive chemicals are required. Yet in the body such a reaction takes place smoothly and rapidly within a very narrow range of pH and temperature. In the same way, when the average protein is to be hydrolyzed, it is boiled in the laboratory for about 24 hours in a 20% HCl solution to achieve complete breakdown. However, in our body the breakdown takes place within 4 hours or less under the conditions of mild physiological temperature and pH. Now, a very special feature of the enzymes is their specificity. One of the properties of enzymes is that makes them so important, they exhibit high specificity relative to the reaction they catalyze. Some enzymes exhibit absolute specificity, that is they will catalyze only one particular reaction and they will form only one product. Other enzymes will be specific for a particular group of chemical bond or a functional group. The first is absolute specificity, that is the enzyme will catalyze a reaction between specific substrate or substrates and to yield specific products. Second type is group specificity. The enzyme will act only on molecules that have a specific functional group. For example, an amino group, a phosphate group or methyl group. Third type of specificity is bond specificity or linkage specificity. The enzyme will act only on a particular type of chemical bond regardless of the rest of the molecular structure. Like peptidase will act only on a peptide bond whatever amino acids are present on both the sides. And the fourth type is stereochemical specificity, where the enzyme will act only on a particular steric or optical isomer. For example, either the D-glucose, D-galactose and like that. Next, coming to the naming and classification of enzymes. International Union of Biochemistry initiated the standards of enzyme nomenclature, and they recommend that the enzyme name indicates the substrate on which it acts upon and the type of reaction catalyzed. And in this way, of course, the originally studied enzymes like pepsine, rennin, trypsin, etc. are known by their common names, but most of the enzymes which are studied after that, they include the name of the substrate and the type of reaction catalyzed, and the enzyme name ends in the ase. For example, alcohol dehydrogenase, that means the substrate is alcohol, the reaction is dehydrogenation, and the ASE indicates that it is the name of an enzyme. Now, depending on the type of reaction they catalyze, they are classified into 6 functional classes, and this classification is called as EC number classification. This classification is by International Union of Biochemists, and this includes EC1. EC1 is oxidoreductase, EC2 transferase, EC3 hydrolase, EC4 lyase, EC5 isomerase and EC6 ligase. Let us see the type reaction which is catalyzed by each of these classes of enzymes. EC1 includes oxidoreductases. There are 2 types of oxidoreductases: oxidase, where oxygen molecule is one of the reactant. For example, cytochrome oxidase. The typical substrate is AH2, which reacts with half O2 and gives A plus H2O. Second type of oxidoreductase is dehydrogenase, where oxygen is not involved, but transfer of electrons or transfer of hydrogen occurs without the involvement of oxygen molecule, but still it is a oxidation reduction reaction. For example, lactic dehydrogenase. In lactic dehydrogenase, the hydrogen molecule is removed from lactic acid and it is transferred to some another carrier and handed over to another carrier. The typical reaction is given as AH2 plus B gives A plus BH2. The second type of reaction is EC2. These are called as transferases. They transfer a particular radical or a particular group from one substrate to other substrate. The examples are transglucosidase, which transfer one monosaccharide unit, transphosphorylases that transfer the phosphate groups, transaminase which transfer the amino group, or transmethylase which transfer a methyl group. Transacetylases transfer an acetyl group. Here we can say the typical reaction is AB plus C, the product is A plus BC, that means the B part is transferred from A to C. Third type of reaction is EC3. This is hydrolases, splitting of the substrate with addition of one water molecule. This include esterases, amylases, nucleases, peptidases and proteases. A typical reaction is AB plus H2O giving AOH plus BH. One water molecule is added, hydroxyl group is added to one part and hydrogen is added to other part. The fourth is EC4 lyase. Lyase is splitting of a carbon-carbon bond without the addition of water, without the addition of hydrogen or any other molecule. The example is aldolase and the type reaction is given as AB forming A plus B. EC5 is isomerases, where the changing the stereo structure of a molecule, like changing a D to L or L to D, like glucose isomerase. Sixth is EC6 ligases, where two different molecules are joined to each other and the energy required for joining is provided by hydrolysis of a high energy phosphate bond on ATP or some other triphosphate. Here A plus B plus ATP give AB plus adenosine diphosphate plus phosphate, and the energy is utilized for the synthesis. So, students, so far we have studied that enzymes play an important role in metabolism. All biochemical reactions in the living organism are catalyzed by enzymes. Enzymes are highly specific regarding the substrate and regarding the type of bond they break. Enzymes are classified into 6 functional classes according to the EC number classification by International Union of Biochemists on the basis of type of reaction that they catalyze. So, this concludes our part 1, and then we will move out to part 2.